right, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to go here at Hearthside Lanes with our final match between Steve Ivarone and John DeRamo. And we're going to be looking at Steve right now on lane 21. And Steve Ivarone, also known as the Guns of Ivarone. Hard thrower, right-hander. 2 stars on his back, Roger. And we all know what that means.
Pro Tour victories.
And Steve starts off in the first box with a 10. So John DeRamo now, who has worked his way up through the ladder by defeating Scott Manzi and then Norm Flory, now faces Steve Ivarone in our final match today in the 1985 Spring Cablevision Open. We're coming to you from Hearthside Lanes in Greenville, Rhode Island. John DeRamo, lane 22 now with the split.
Try to slide it.
6-7.
Hit it too full.
John starts out with a 9. Roger, there's going to be a little extra pressure knowing you're bowling against Steve Ivarone, who throws a lot of strikes, never out of the game.
There's no doubt about it. He's one of the hardest throwers there is. No luck.
And you know you're not going to have too much room for a mistake bowling against Steve.
That's for sure. You're going to pick everything you've got in front of you. Wow. Got the bound back, but didn't quite come up to make the 2-pin.
So John DeRamo starting out with 2 open frames. As we mentioned, John just defeated Norm Flory. Turn a shot here at this week's title against Steve Ivarone. Steve Ivarone now moving to lane 22. And cuts through the head pin. You know, Al, the more I watch Steve Ivarone, the more I'm impressed with his accuracy, even though he throws the ball so hard.
Yes, once he gets it going, I bowled with him in this qualifier, same pair of lanes, and he is unbelievable once he gets it started.
So both bowlers maybe a little tight here to start off. Both are going to have open frames. All right, so both bowlers a little tight here in the early going. Through the first 2 frames, both bowlers with open frames. And Steve just missed the head pin on the 3-pin side.
Right.
So now shooting at the 1-2-4 with the 10. And that's where the power comes in. Pulling the pin out of the back pit, catch the 10 pin, but leaving the front pin, so Steve can settle for a 10 box here. And both bowlers are a little tight right now. Neither bowler able to get that first mark in this game yet. So John DeRamo now moving over to lane 22. And we apologize for our break in the audio. And I guess it must have been Steve, because we did that last time he was on. I think he has our producers scared.
It's all that power.
Steve, we promise to show your best side.
Ooh, look at, oh, God.
What a try by John DeRamo.
Just missed that 5-pin.
So again, we're going to go through the first 3 boxes. Neither bowler here able to break the ice, get that first mark.
Something's got to give here pretty soon, Lee.
That's right. The difference in the match right now is the 3rd ball.
John DeRamo, lane 21. And dropping 9. A lot of action off the sides. John DeRamo now with a chance to pick up the first mark in this match. Shooting at the 1-pinner, and he's got it.
There's the icebreaker.
So now Steve staring at the mark. Box 4, John DeRamo certainly doesn't want to fall behind early. Tight head pin hit. Boy, does he mix them around.
That shows what the power of his ball can do. That ball was pretty high in the 1-3 pocket, but he still managed to break them up.
The normal ball would have left 2 or 3 pins in the back row.
Yeah, it may have.
Plus it was mine. I might have left 7 or 8. Picks the spare, so both bowlers match spare in the 4th box. I throw one of the classic mush balls.
Oh. We all know about those.
Oh, yes. We've all thrown those one time or another, haven't we? I understand even our producer tried duck pin bowling last week.
How did he make out?
Well, he found out that the game is not as easy as it looks.
Oof. There's Ivorone.
The guns of Ivorone. With the strike. And now the pressure turns to John DeRamo to keep up with Steve. He's going to have to fill and mark.
Ball hung out there a little bit.
Steve has a 10-pin lead right now. Through the first 4.
And John leaves the 7 and the 10 standing. This is the 7 pin. Boy, and the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to get Steve Ivorone way out front. Because if he can really crank up, boy, that's trouble.
Yeah, he can roll them up quick.
John's trying to force the ball now, it looks like.
He's overthrew that ball a little bit.
I think when you see a hot thrower like
try.
Steve, when you see a hot thrower like Steve, you have a tendency to try to match his power, and that just throws your game right off.
Yeah, there aren't too many people that can do that.
Well, you know, you get caught up in the pace. You get caught up in throwing the ball hard. It really throws your timing off, getting to the line, and that makes a big difference in this game. There's very little margin for error in duck pins. An exciting game, though.
There he goes.
And here he comes.
Yep, the train.
Everything flew in the pit that time. You didn't get any pins left on the deck.
Steve picks the 2-pinner and opens up a
23-pin lead.
commanding lead. And boy, I tell you, I wouldn't want to be bowling against Steve Ivorone with a 23-pin lead.
I don't want to be bowling against him anyway.
That sounds like an even better
Yeah.
idea. I think that would be an excellent idea.
Roger and I caught a break in the last one when he was eliminated early.
Yeah. Oh,
That's why. What a smash. What an exciting month for duck pin bowling from Hearthside Lanes. And we want to thank our host, Chet and Mary Cook, and of course, Carol Cook, and these 2 women who've done so much to help women's duck pin bowling to national prominence. Stop by any time here on Route 44,
that's a good ball.
just west of the 295 junction. And meanwhile, these guys are just blowing them off the plates here.
Both bowlers, I think, are starting to loosen up here. And Steve, once he starts putting them together, he may be tough to catch.
And our programs this month are directed by Joe Stafford. Videotape, Tom Manna. Cameras, John Carroll and Don Lewis. And Kevin Baruti. And our production assistant is Glenn Jordan. And a very tough spare. Picked up by John DeRamo. Stay in the match.
It's 23 down right now. Steve's throwing on a strike. Steve's always throwing on a strike.
It always seems that way, doesn't it? By the way, our lovely statisticians who are keeping score for us are Marilyn Homnick, Judy Etier, Marilyn St. Jean. Roger, how many sets of pins is Steve personally responsible for ruining each year?
I wouldn't want to count them.
Aren't you glad he doesn't bowl a league in your house, Roger?
Well, you know, Steve, he comes down there a few times every year and usually manages to throw a 200 game somewhere.
I think Steve could throw a 200 game in the middle of Park Avenue, Cranston.
He can break him in the street.
All right, he gets an 8 box.
Puts him 115 in the 8th right now. He's up 29 pins. John's working on a spare.
Our executive producer for Maka Council Group, sitting to my right, Mike Davis McGonigal. Who keeps us all straight, tells us what to say and where to do it.
Ooh, there it is, the power.
That's the power.
Yep.
Kicks out the 6-9 and goes from a very difficult spare break to the 2-pinner.
He's got the pins working for him.
Picks the 2. And Steve Iverone's going to be tough to catch.
Yeah.
He moves to 125 in the 9th frame, working on the spare.
I think John needs a strike here. And maybe then another.
He mixed them around, leaving the 8-pin. All of our finalists this month receive a generous gift certificate from Place for Ribs in Johnston, Rhode Island on Atwood Avenue. And we welcome Place for Ribs to our duck pin sponsors and express our appreciation for their support of duck pin bowling. And John DeRamo just missed the spare that would probably keep him in the game.
That just about did it for John.
Yep. So it looks like Steve Iverone will capture our first week on our second stop here at Hearthside Lanes in Johnston, Rhode Island.
Although you said stranger things have happened.
The last time I said that, yes, we did have a strange ending, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Oh, tough break.
Thanks, John. He got me off the hook,
Yep.
and we're not going to have any flash finishes
No
here.
flash finishes.
All right, this can be made. We remember seeing Bucky Smet make this shot a few weeks back.
Boy, we sure did, and it was a game winner, too.
Yeah.
Almost. And John DeRamo finishes up with a 114. I'm sure he's not very happy with that, Al. He bowled well all day today.
Yeah, he's a much better bowler than
That's right.
what's indicated on that score.
Steve Iverone will finish up and be our week #1 champion here at Hearthside Lanes in Johnston, Rhode Island. All right, so Steve Iverone here is going to finish up. He has the 3 and the 4 pin. And of course, why not?
That's why they made sideboards.
That's it.
They always go that way when you're 23, 30 pins ahead anyway, Roger, and it's the last box, and
Yeah.
your opponent is all done bowling. And he finishes with a smash, leaves the 5 pin, so Steve Iverone, our champion here at 152, defeating John DeRamo with a 114. And we're going to make our presentations to our bowlers, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Just get in, we'll talk about it.
I've got to go home.
Oh, come on, Carrie. We're going to a new place.
She wants me to go home, right? Let's go. Yeah,
Whoa.
you okay to drive?
Yeah.
I'm fine. You sure?
Relax.
What's a few beers?
If you don't stop your friend from drinking and driving, you're as good as dead. Drinking and driving can kill a friendship.
Hi, my name is Ken, and I'm a customer service representative at Cox Cable. I'd like to thank you for choosing Cox Cable. As a customer service representative, I answer many of your questions and try to help you in any way I can. It's all a part of our goal, keeping you tuned in. We're working for you at Cox Cable and hope you're enjoying your cable television service. If you have any questions, give us a call at 943-6993. At Cox Cable, we're committed to serving you.
Welcome back here to Hearthside Lanes in Johnston, Rhode Island, and Greenville, Rhode Island. Not Johnston. You don't want to be part of Johnston, Mary? Okay, we just moved outside to Greenville, Rhode Island, and we're about ready to give out our awards here in our first week, and we'd like to thank the Cook family. It's been a great week here at Hearthside Lanes. And our first consolation prize is going to go to Scott Manzi a consolation prize and a gift certificate for the Place of Ribs. And unfortunately, Scott couldn't be with us, so we're going to ask you and Chet to accept on our behalf. Thank you very much. Also not here with us, unfortunately, Cliff Smith, consolation prize, a gift certificate for Place for Ribs, and his consolation prize, we're going to ask you to accept that one also. And you and Chet are going to go out on dinner tonight on the two guys, right? No. Our runner-up, third place finisher, and my partner in the booth during our telecast here from Hearthside, Norm Flory, third place finisher. Norm? Congratulations, Norm. And once again, our prize and a gift certificate from Place of Ribs in Johnston, Rhode Island. Second place finisher, coming all the way from the top, from the bottom rather, John DeRamo. John, you ran into a tough man at the end. And John is our gift certificate and your prize, and of course, the Guns of Ibarone, Steve Ibarone, our top winner this week. Steve, congratulations. Thank you, Steve, for a great show. And we would like to once again thank the Cook family here at Hearthside Lanes in Greenville, Rhode Island. And we're going to be back next week again with more duck pin action from Hearthside Lanes in Greenville, Rhode Island. So make sure you're with us.